Hi, everybody. I'm Ron.
I'm Judy.
We're Full-Time Dream. Well, we're going to have a family come with us today and do a little bit of an interview with them and get to learn who they are and what they're all about. Is there anything you want to add in before we bring them up?
No, we can bring them up.
Okay, we're going to bring them up. This is on the Mewve. Did I say that right? On the Mewve?
Whoop, wait.
Oop.
Still got you muted. There we go. Now we can hear you.
Yes, on the Mewve is correct.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and kind of give a little introduction of yourselves so people get to know who you are and what your channel is about and before we get started.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kelly.
I'm Wilson.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Maddie.
And we are
On the Mewve.
So we are a family that loves to travel. We're teachers, middle school teachers. Some of you know that about us. We enjoy going mostly in the summertime. We are new RVers. We only had an RV for 2 years. So we've been traveling only for about 2 years during school breaks and weekends and summertime. We have enjoyed doing that with our kids. And so that's kind of what we started. We started out doing family videos pretty much. And tell them a little bit about what we've been doing.
Yeah, so we got our camper and we started thinking, okay, let's go travel some, see how this works. Because, you know, you get an RV and you're not quite sure if you're going to really like it or not. And we did the most dangerous thing that you can do. We went to an RV show first. And that was
You don't know
really
anything
dangerous.
about doing that.
Yeah, I know. And we had not looked at any
anything.
campers anywhere. And we just saw that there was going to be an RV show in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we said, that'll be
Let's go.
fun.
Yeah.
Let's just go. Let's look. We're not going to buy anything. Okay. How many times did you say that,
Yeah,
right?
we did the same thing when Ron had a hip replacement and we had to go get some exercise in January. Where do you go? The RV show. We're just
Right,
going. Yeah, we ended up upgrading.
Yeah.
Well, we
It
went
was a little
in.
dangerous. Yeah.
It was. We went in. We looked. We had our in-laws with us. And
No, my mom and dad.
yeah, your mom and dad,
Your
my in-laws, the outlaws. Okay, we'll say that. The outlaws were with us. And so we went in, looked around, had a lot of fun. The kids looked at all the campers. We did. And we were like, this is kind of cool. You know, we could probably do something like this because most of our travel had been kind of local. Go to the North Carolina mountains, go to the beach. You know, we've got some nice places, but it's a week, you know, maybe a week and a half because you know how expensive it is to rent somewhere.
Right.
And we just started looking at campers and found a nice little bunkhouse used. And, you know, most people don't really use their campers a lot. So we bought a 2-year-old model and took off. And our first trip we planned, what did we do?
Well, we decided to do kind of a mini long trip.
Yeah.
So we were like, and we had some other stuff already planned this summer. We went to the RV show in January and we bought it at the end of February.
Yeah.
So one of my best friends, they are also RVers. They had a camper already. She said, when we went to the RV show, she said, you'll have one next month. And so pretty much happened. So we had already planned. Like I said, we go all the time. We travel before we had RV. So everybody's always, that's why we got our name, because we were always going in the summertime. Everybody says, do y'all ever stay home? So we were big travelers. So our summer was pretty much booked. Maddie was having ear surgery. She had to get both of her eardrums. They were perforated. So she had to have surgery to repair those. So we couldn't go north. We couldn't go out in the mountains. So we went south. And we traveled all along the Gulf Coast. So we decided just to do 3 weeks just to see how we did in the camper together.
Could we survive and not kill anybody in the camper for 3 weeks?
Yeah. So we went along the Gulf Coast down to Florida, across to Texas and back. And we survived and loved it. And so we were kind of hooked at that point. So
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and say, we're going to say hello to a bunch of people that came in now real quick.
hi, everybody.
You know,
McGuire's.
Hey, McGuire's.
weren't we just talking about them behind their back before we came up? Something like that. How are you doing? Thank you for coming in.
Going Green Mom, welcome. Sue from Lucky Dog.
traveling on. Thank you for coming in.
RV field trip. What do I keep? Is there a? I keep hearing a buzz. Is that like a phone? Carl from Carl's Off the Grid.
Hi, Carl. Thank you for coming.
And I think we were caught up now. Oh, Forever Best Friends is in the house. Just came in.
Hi there. Yeah. Again, we're talking with on the Mewve. They're coming in and telling us a little bit about themselves, and I know their kids are Cody and Maddie in the background there, and I know they're probably real excited about hanging out and talking with a couple of old people on here.
But they like mint chocolate chip ice cream, so they're all good.
That's for sure.
So when you guys bought your camper, did you have any idea about them at all, or it was just
no, we watched YouTube. We watched a lot of YouTube.
And that's when we really first got into watching a lot of, like, I do some how-to YouTube videos. I like to do my own stuff at home. I like to repair things. The dryer goes out. I'm going to try to figure it out before I pay somebody $300 to come here. And so that was the only thing I really did with YouTube. And then we started getting into the travel videos and then the how-to videos once we bought the camper. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And maybe we could even do some of these videos down the road. So, yeah, we didn't know anything because we tent camped.
I grew up camping. My parents had a camper. That's how I grew up. And that's one of the reasons why I also wanted to go camping with my kids. So we camped a lot of different kinds of campers. I believe we had one of any kind except we never had a travel trailer or anything. We've always had motorhomes. We started out with a little van, and that was quite an experience. I remember that very well, sleeping above the driver's seat in a little switched up place. But so I kind of grew up doing that, but I don't remember any of the part being a young kid, what all my parents had to do that. But
she never hooked up a sewer hose. No. She still doesn't.
Hooking up the sewer hose isn't the bad part. It's unhooking the sewer hose that's the bad part.
Exactly right.
Or if the sewer hose comes unhooked while you're doing it.
Speaking of that, we were talking about her parents being with us at the show. Well, they ended up buying a camper right behind us. And so they couldn't resist. You take somebody with you and they see you do that, they're just going to do it. And so we went camping with them. They had not been in probably 20, 25 years.
Longer than that. Probably.
Maybe longer. And so we got hooked up. And by that point, we had gotten pretty decent at hooking up pretty quick. And so they got hooked up, but needed a little bit of help with a few things. And I helped them out. And then they left a day before we did. Well, her dad didn't really check out the hoses very well. And they had bought a used camper like we did. And so he went to...
Cody was helping him.
Luckily, he went to dump the gray tank first. And I don't know why he did that. Because, usually you dump the black first.
Thank goodness he didn't.
He didn't. And the hose busted open and it went everywhere.
Yeah, that's the one thing we've started to tell people too is when we dump our sewers, we actually let the gray out just a tiny bit to make sure everything's hooked up first and you don't have any holes in your, because that happened to us too. We had a slit in one of the hoses one time.
So that would be just terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Maddie a question so that if she gets bored and decides it's time for her to leave. My question is that in the one video where you said that you're marking things off your bucket list, being as young as you are how thick is that book of your bucket list now?
Your bucket list. Remember when you said
how big is your bucket list? Those items that you're marking off, how big is it?
Where's your place that you want to go?
Where else do you want to go?
No, we've been like everywhere.
Let's go everywhere.
we've been everywhere.
Good
You
answer.
want to go to California, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, California is on both of their lists to hit California. So
Nursing our
our
travel.
goal is maybe to go there before he graduates. So we got till 2024 to do that. So that's when you
I
graduate.
also noticed that Cody does an awful lot of the filming too on some of the videos.
He does some filming. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to get him to do a little more. So since he's older and he can start doing some of that.
What kind of places or where do you want to go to, Cody?
Let's see. California is a big one I want to hit. Trying to think.
We wanted to go to Canada, didn't we?
Yeah, I
And
want
we
to
didn't
go
get
to
there
Canada
last year.
too. That's another place I want to go to. Trying to think. Where else?
See, we're spoiled. We're near Buffalo. So
Oh.
Canada to us is the same thing as Buffalo. I mean, we used to travel back and forth and, 4 times in a day. It's
Wow, yeah. I went to Canada when I was 8 years old. My granddaddy went up there to pick up some homing pigeons, racing pigeons. I went with him as my first flight was going to Canada, and so we went up there. And I went to Calgary. It was in Calgary, and we visited, and we went to Banff and several places. I've always wanted to go back there. That was actually on our trip last summer, but then COVID hit, so we had to reroute south, which was fine, but we still want to go to Canada. So
Yeah, we had it all planned out. We had timed it
reservations,
so
yeah.
we could get the reservations in Banff and Jasper National Parks, and we were going to cross the border and do all of those. We had all those reservations made, and like so many other things, just everything got canceled. So
we wanted to go to Calgary Stampede, and that was
Yeah.
canceled. So we're going to wait on that to open back up, and hopefully we'll get there. So.
It looks like you were still able to get out and travel last summer, though. So what was it like
And
traveling during?
yeah, the cool thing about traveling last summer were, there was very few crowds. You just didn't have the numbers of people. We had already planned to go to the Badlands and Yellowstone, the Cody, Wyoming area, and then down to the Tetons. And then we were going to turn and go towards Glacier. But you didn't have the tour buses in Yellowstone, which really brought the crowds down, especially around the touristy areas, Old Faithful and all of the hot springs, Mammoth, even over at the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, very small crowds. And so it was really nice at that point. Now, the other side of that was like Old Faithful Inn was closed. Most of their restaurants were closed. Accommodations in the park were pretty much closed. Only a few campgrounds were really open, but we chose to stay outside of the park.
Dad.
And I see
That's my dad.
I was going to say it's somebody related to you because
It just might have been-
That's my dad. Yep. Those are all true stories,
Yeah,
Dad.
there, my mom showed up too. So.
So yeah, it was really nice actually to go to the real popular national parks and have the crowds to be a lot lower. And you do so much outside anyway. We were able to do so much, and you're in your RV, so you're not near anybody. We boondocked a good bit, and so we were out in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. So we stayed in Coulter Bay RV, park.
we were able to get 6 nights in Coulter Bay.
Because of the cancellations of everybody else's trip, we benefited. We were going to boondock, but we just kept checking the website, and the next day would open up and I'd call right away and get one. And so we ended up getting 6 nights back to back and right there in the park. And so that was our splurge. It was expensive, but it was worth it because we were right there and everything. So the kids loved it.
Another question I got for the kids: do you get when you're traveling long distances, do you get to sit back there and play traveling games, or you just see who farts the loudest?
it was the couch. He said it.
That was the pregame show.
Yeah. I don't know. We just kind of sometimes we look outside or we get entertained by our devices sometimes. Just gonna go out and be honest. But yeah, occasionally we'll play travel games.
Yeah.
How many
Well,
times
in
does your
2
dad have
weeks,
How
in
many
2
times
weeks,
is it-
we're actually going to answer that question really well in a video, because it's one video where we were traveling from Wyoming down to Colorado. And so we did some filming in the truck. So you'll see exactly what they did most of the time.
How many
Those
times
battles
does
you
your
don't
dad
fight
say,
sometimes just to make
"Don't
it
make
6
me
or
turn
7
this thing
hours,
around"?
down the road. So y'all have fun. They do pretty well. So
Yeah.
they've been traveling all their life, so they do pretty well in the car. Now it's funny to hear them say, like, if we're going somewhere in South Carolina, it's 3 or 4 hours, or somewhere in Georgia, it's 5 hours. They're like, oh, that's not bad, because we've done a 12-hour day before, and so driving 3 or 4 hours is nothing to them now, which is great.
And Cody's first big trip was when he was 14 months old.
We went to Yellowstone.
And we actually took Kelly's parents with us, and we flew out to Yellowstone. And I had him in a little Kelty backpack back here, and we walked around all the geysers. And so he saw it when he was 14 months old, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And we just knew we wanted to keep our kids, traveling, give them those experiences if we could.
So you were traveling before you had kids and just continued on. And
Yeah.
I feel
we
inclined to
travel a
thank
lot.
you for coming in.
I guess that's the nice part about being teachers, having those couple months off. Unfortunately, it's a lot of other people have off, but it's nice to have that big group of time to,
Be able to plan a
Ron
trip.
gets like 4 weeks of vacation, and when I was working, I had 4 weeks of vacation, but trying to, you could never take
Match
more
it
than a
up.
week at a time, and matching it up. And
Then my work says, you can go ahead and have this date to this date off, and hers says you can have this date to this date off.
Right.
But it's kind of
that's why I quit working.
Well, when I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for a career, and so I majored in business to start with. I said, I'll figure it out. I'll just get a job. And I went to work for a Fortune 50 company, and I did not enjoy it. I didn't feel that purpose, and I saw Kelly was teaching, and she really enjoyed what she did. And so I said, well, I love history. I love kids, why not just put these two things together? And I went back and got my degree so I could teach. And that was one of the best things for our family, because it has given us that opportunity during the summer. Like you said, it's busy, but then during the weekdays, it's still not quite as busy. So that's kind of nice. And then during Christmas break, we always try to do something. Like this year, we went down to Florida.
Last 2 years.
Well, actually, last 2 years.
Crystal River, Florida. And that's nice. That's a nice area. We've enjoyed it. So.
Mm-hmm. We just try to take advantage of any of those little breaks we get. And teaching it's a tough thing. This year's been really strange, as I know most places have been strange dealing with things, but it can be very stressful, and that away time is much needed. So
he's 5 years behind me to retire, so he's got to pick it up so we can travel. By when you're 21, I'm on countdown. I got 7 more years I can
As I
retire.
say, you can drive it, right?
Right, yeah.
You can
she can. She doesn't like
put some meals in the freezer and head out with the kids.
That might be what we do. Or another girlfriend that likes to go, we'll just head out. So they should have started teaching when I did, when we got out of
By
college.
that time, you're going to be famous on YouTube and making tons of money. So,
Yeah, there we go. That's what we'll do. Making full time then and not worry about it.
Hi, Betty Jean. How you doing tonight? Thank you for coming in.
Hi, everybody.
We see lots of familiar names in the chat over there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We really enjoy getting to know some new people, and we really appreciate how nice everybody's been to us and welcome us into the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, everybody's really good with each other. I mean, which is surprising. Normally you can get a bunch of people together and then people start to pick at each other or whatever, but this community is a lot different than that. Everybody pretty much has everybody's back.
Yeah,
So it's really good community.
really neat to see. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. My mind just goes blank.
What's one thing that you hope will never change?
I hope we don't lose our want to when it comes to traveling. You know, you have to really want to travel, because travel looks really easy and really nice to a lot of people when you watch a video.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially RV travel, you know, there's a lot of work behind it. You're driving, and some people have different rules about driving throughout the day. You know, some people drive 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, and stop. We're still in that phase where we like to get there. So we'll do 8 or 9 hours and it doesn't really bother us. We do switch off a little bit. I don't mind driving. I've always enjoyed driving. And so I just hope we don't lose that will to want to travel, you know, because it does require work, hooking up the camper, moving destinations, you know, things like that. Sometimes we don't realize how much work goes into that part of the process.
My mom wanted to ask a question. She wanted to know how many states that you visited so far.
Oh, what do we count in the RV? I think it's 22
or 23 in the camper.
Yeah.
And
if you see our map back here, we put that in there so everybody can see. We made a travel wall, so we try to pick a couple of pictures from each trip. I like to take pictures. I've done a little photography and stuff, so I enjoy that part as well. So we made a little travel wall and put our big map in. So that is covering any travel that we've done. So we just, as a family, Wilson and I have done more, but we kept up with this map. All of us go, and maybe not Maddie. I don't think we put. Well, yeah, we put up. Yeah, we've only done the ones that all 4 of us has gone to together on this map, and then we have the one on our RV of the one that the RV and our family has gone through. So we kind of have 2 little, you know, keepers going on of our states. So Wilson and I have traveled a bunch of states. I think 38, 39. I think we're at now.
38 or 39. Yeah.
I think I've done one more than you because you haven't been to California.
Yep.
So I still will have one up on him for a little while.
I'm not sure if I can pronounce that name right or not. It's Solix or something. I believe I got that right. Solix. Thank you for coming in. I think you're new to our chat. I don't think you've been to our live stream before. Thank you for coming in for sure.
So you guys said you do just some boondocking?
Yes, we have. Yes.
I really prefer boondocking myself. Now, I'm not going to say that these 3, you know, prefer
agree with
that.
your choices.
Yeah,
I like having showers.
He likes a long shower.
And I like having electricity and water and everything where I don't, you know, have to. I mean, normally in the RV, I don't take too long in the shower because, you know, we don't have that much hot water, so they get cold on me pretty quick. But
we do enjoy it for short amounts of time. Our last trip we went on, I think the longest we stayed out was 5 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good stretch for
That's a good time.
2 little ones. They've done pretty well. They'll ask, do we have hookups, you know, so they know if they can run the water at the sink, things like that. So
That's
we've got them trained. Yeah.
We've taken our grandkids out and they don't quite understand that, you know, no, you can't just run the sink on, you know.
We tried to do a little practice run before we got out there, you know, when we do have hookups. So this is how you do water, you know, you have to put a little water in, turn it off, and just wash with what you got, you know. So they're the dishwashers in our camper. Everybody talks about having a dishwasher. We have 2. So that is their job. We cook and they do the dishes. So they've gotten pretty good about that.
Do you use any solar or any generators or anything when you boondock?
We do have a Predator generator, 3500, and it works very well. It runs everything we need. I've been happy with it so far. I did have to do a little operation on it recently. The carburetors in them, I guess they get a little clogged up or something from time to time. And I bought some different little jets that go in there, found a YouTube video, figured out how to fix it, and, you know, made a few modifications, and it works really well. It's real quiet. In fact, we were boondocking in Montana, and the guy next to us, he did not have a generator. Yeah, he was an Airstream, and he complimented me the next morning and said, I can't believe how quiet that generator is. And so that was nice because, you know, you get mixed opinions about running generators in places. and I want to be neighborly, because
Right.
that particular campground, we were probably 30, 40 feet away from the next site. Still boondocking, but
It was a campground, yeah, per se.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, we do the same thing in our state park. We stay in a site that doesn't have any hookups at all, but we have a solar panel that pretty much charges our battery. I think they just split.
Maybe he has an assignment he's got to submit to Art tonight for his remote learning day. So he said, I got to go turn in some work. So that was his excuse.
With the first question,
Yeah.
so.
And a little bit just went on with him. So. So yeah, we enjoyed boondocking. We did in Montana, and we did one outside of Yellowstone, outside of Gardner. That was our longest day.
Yeah, that was beautiful. We were right on the Yellowstone River. It's probably 15 miles above Gardner, Montana. There's actually quite a bit of boondocking in that area.
It's free.
Yeah, and it was just so nice. I mean, you heard the river, and the Yellowstone was just roaring. And so at night, you just open the windows, and I don't even think we had to run the generator there because it was nice and cool. But it was just that's the thing about boondocking. You just don't hear noise as much, if you pick the right location,
Right.
especially out west. And there's so much land out west to do that. Now, here in South Carolina, not so much,
Yeah, the East Coast is not the easiest place to find any boondocking. So
Yeah, we're in New York, so we agree. But
Are you a part of? Have you heard of Boondockers Welcome or
Harvest
Harvest
Homes?
Homes?
we have heard of it. We've not used it yet. We've looked on the map a couple of times in this area just to see. There's not a lot of availability, and the ones that we see there, a lot of them are shorter campers than what we have. Their requirements are just a little too specific for us to be able to use.
so that's something we might do. Looking
Yeah.
in the future.
I do think that's, I know how a lot of people use Harvest Host to kind of stay a night here and there. I think Boondockers Welcome, when you hit the right spots, could be a good tool for something like that. Because it's only meant for short-term stays, I think, right?
yeah, we have a host site too at our house. So
Okay.
people come up, people that are visiting Niagara Falls, we're an hour away from the falls when we're down
Nice.
there. But, people have stayed and visited the falls and
But yeah,
That's cool.
the Boondockers Welcome. We've stayed at one in Tennessee. Got a few other places that we're going to be trying to catch up to.
Yes, we do. We mooch stock at my granny's. Yes. We have, we don't have electricity. We have to run the generator at Granny's, but we have water. So it's a nice day. My Granny's yard is a really nice day. So we do mooch stock there. Mhm.
And we can dump the gray tank out there with no problems. Cody can take his long showers.
The Northwoods RV Life stopped in. Thank you for coming in, Cody and Corey and
Lori
Lori.
and Lori.
They're on after us, so we'll be dropping their link to go to that. See them after we're done.
Nice.
Hervey field trip, shorter campers under 5 feet.
Yeah. We've got a 35-foot Class A. So it like you said, we look at the how to get in and all of what you can get into and all of that, and really she's done really good at finding places. I mean, so that we can go and get in without any issues. And we do an awful lot of boondocking and that type of camping in trips, so that it's cheaper to be able to stay at a place for a night or two and go out and keep on moving on like that. So I mean, it's boondocking is something that a lot of people really need to try to do a little bit more of sometimes.
I think so too. It's really enjoyable as well. But in planning our trip this past summer, we were gone for 44 days, 45 days, somewhere along in there. That really helped us save, quite a bit of money on those nights, because we did 3 nights at the Badlands on the Wall, and then 3 more nights just north of Yellowstone, 3 nights in southern Wyoming. And, you add it up, and we ended up having about 14 nights, I think, boondocking. And so you put that together, that's a couple of $100 or more, depending on where you stay out there.
Right. Right, especially if you're looking at full hookup sites. I mean, or KOAs that are what, $70 a night sometimes.
So,
We're not KOA fans.
oh my goodness.
You're not KOA.
I'm not a KOA fan.
We've stayed there and we will stay
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Or we
But
have-
you know, it's just the cost of it. You know, it's just
They're a
some
little
items.
over. I agree. They're a little overrated. They're
Yeah.
usually small.
friends
They're right
love
next to a highway, and they're
but
We
they're
stayed
very,
at one in Nebraska, and it was just it was along the interstate, just somewhere to stay for the night. That's all we needed.
To get the Badlands, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a little pricey. I mean, there was nothing
Nothing.
there. It's just cornfields all around. They had a pool, which was great for the kids,
It was like ice,
but there just wasn't anything there, And it's not their fault. It was well maintained, and you know what you get when you go to a KOA.
Yeah.
right.
they're always clean, and the people are 99% of the time the people are really nice and
Yes.
and treat you really well.
Yes.
Well, in our intro video, you saw Cody and Maddie rolling on the little
Little trikes.
tricycles. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was out of that KOA in Nebraska. So they had a blast. So there was stuff there for them to do. It was just in the middle of nowhere, but it was just a one night stay. But
We stayed at one like that too, and it was when I was making the reservation. It was going to be really hot that weekend, and I just wanted to go somewhere that had a pool.
yeah,
So
that's what we were looking for in that area. It was hot, but the pool was still freezing.
but so we get down there, and they were going to close the pool in case there was thunder and lightning. I'm like, great.
Oh no!
Yeah,
But when we did our plan for our boondocking, we tried to kind of put it between, the full hookups, so we kind of get a break, get back to a little bit more amenities and things like that. So we kind of balanced it out along our trip when we did a boondocking. We tried to get the next one be a full hookup, the laundry and all that good stuff. So we enjoyed our little boondocking time when we went into Gardner to do laundry, take a shower, and upload a video to YouTube, all at the laundromat. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was a first for us, having to go to paid showers. And I know other people have done that.
We've
But
never done that before.
We had never done that before, and we were staying there for 4 or 5 nights. And the teenagers definitely can't go that long without a shower. And so we went down, and they had a great laundromat, free Wi-Fi, and then you took your shower, and it was, I think, $10 for the shower. You got
For
10 minutes. And so we set it up where, put the kids in one and said, all right, you have this much time, set your timer, and then you switch out. And then we did the same thing. So because we're a little
Sure, you did.
It was very nice. He let me have the majority of the time.
I actually-
needed to shave
she's-
my legs.
She said, you go first. I said, okay. And I was out in 3 minutes.
Right.
And so she got a 7-minute shower out of
I
that
shaved
deal.
my legs, washed my hair, and still got to stand there afterwards. I was so excited.
You've learned how to make the most of your time.
Yes, 10 minutes was great. Yes.
Our
You got
very
sweet.
first trip was a boondocking trip. We went to Maine, and I went up there to go hunting on my moose hunt. And when we went up there, we drove all the way up there, stayed at 2 Walmarts on the way up there, and then drove 15 miles down a dirt logging road with
Oh,
our
boy.
Class A, and parked right next to the lake. And we were there for 7
week,
days.
yeah.
Yeah, for 7 days, boondocking next to that lake, hearing the loons and everything else.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Uh,
It was hunting for moose. That sounds fun.
That would be fun for me.
but yeah, we've got a onboard generator, and we have solar panels to trickle charge the batteries too. So, and we don't really use an awful lot of lights or anything like that most of the time.
Yeah.
Do you guys have LED lights throughout?
We just switched some of ours out because ours is a 2006.
She could have
Okay.
put that to the video where we swapped them out right up the
I'll put it down below.
Yeah, put a link.
Yeah, we ended up doing some of that because we do boondock a lot, and we had the old, and I hate the other lights too. They're so dark.
Oh, yes.
And So yeah,
Ours are LED lights as well, and they don't draw very much energy. So, and we only had one battery. I installed a second battery before we went out west just to make sure, you don't want to run out.
Yeah. Yeah,
and-
we got
and
3
we're pretty good.
batteries.
Hmm?
Yeah, we have three. We have three batteries
batteries.
on the battery bank. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we haven't done any solar or anything like that. That might be in the future, but the generator's done pretty well. So
To be honest, our solar is a panel. That's all we did. We just bought a 100-watt panel and we attach it to the batteries when we get somewhere and put it out and move it around if we need to. That's
Yeah.
so
That's what I was
when we say
thinking.
that we have
Something
solar,
like
we're not running everything. We're not running a microwave and TVs and everything else off it. But right now we're looking into the fact that they do have some 12-volt TVs that we're kind of interested in looking at. But of course, most of the places that we go, there's no reception anyway. So it's
True.
we're going to be traveling with my mom, so she needs something to watch. So we just got to figure out that.
Yeah.
So do your students know you're on YouTube?
I told them this year, yes. So they always ask, how many subscribers do you have? And that was like when we had 30. I'm like, we just got started, guys.
Go tell
And
all
they
your friends.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, go check us out.
Then they chuckle at you, but you kind of feel weird about saying, yeah, we're on YouTube, and then your students are there watching you, and that kind of stuff. But it's kind of cool too, because if they do look, many of them can see things that they may not otherwise get to see. Again, it's that benefit of travel. I've been organizing a Washington, D.C. field trip for 10 years now for our 8th graders, and I've taken, I guess, pretty close to 1,000 8th graders over that time to Washington, D.C., just because I love that travel so much and I want to see them travel as well.
Right.
Unfortunately, this year, last year's got canceled, and this year I didn't even bother because there was no point. I'm hoping we can get that started back again, but that travel opportunity, it amazes me to see our kids on that trip and see places, and then their eyes just light up. And that it confirms into me travel is so important for everybody.
It opens your mind to what else is out there and how other people live, because even though it's the United States and its areas are different and things are different from a big city to a little town, it's just
and
Yeah.
the
We
same
live in a
way.
small town, and some kids haven't been, past the farms and the edge of our community, just. So I did show them a little clip from the Badlands, and they were like, "That's in America," I'm like, "Yeah, it's in South Dakota," and talked about where that was, because like, where's that? So they don't really have an idea of where things are, and just the perception is to broaden that besides just your little world here. We try to share. We share a lot of pictures at the beginning of the school year when we're telling our students about us. So that's where they see a lot of our passion, what we love to do with our family. And, we tell them we like to share it with them too, to show them some cool places, so.
I have my students at the end of the year actually I like to teach real life skills with history. And so what we do is we plan a vacation trip, and I do that from a historical standpoint with the locations they go to, but then they learn to budget. They have to put together a spreadsheet. They have to go online and use sites to either book a flight or rent a car, and then go somewhere and rent a hotel room, or they can find somewhere, to rent a, cabin or whatever for a week. And so those are just real life learning experiences that they can use. And I tell them, go home and show this to your parents. And, if you budget it right, maybe you guys can use this itinerary and go on a trip. So
that is an awesome idea, because that's, I mean, a lot of people think things are out of their reach,
Right.
but especially if you don't know how to do it, go to a travel agent and book something, they're just going to charge you whatever, but there's things you can't do within a budget. That's awesome.
Thank you for coming in, Nothing Edited. Good to see you.
Hi. People always ask us, when they see our big trip, how far out do you start planning? And so when we do, it's usually a year or more out, since summertime is so popular.
Right.
it takes, especially if you're going to go to national parks like we did this past summer. You know, we were on the day of whatever, you know, opened up. You know, we were trying to get in there. We were sitting at school in May. What was it that was opening up?
Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
We were trying
to get in Yellowstone, and that didn't happen. But we had our computers up. We were ready, like trying to get in, and the whole website was just, it probably had 1 million people trying to get in there. But we didn't get into that one. But you know, that's just part of the planning. We knew what day we had to go. If you want those high priority places, you know, you got to plan way in advance. You know,
So what are you planning for this coming year?
well, we
Or don't you want to
started-
tell?
Oh, we'll tell.
Yeah, we'll tell. We probably started a little late planning this one, which was a little, you know, a little worrisome on the planners. We're both very big planners, you know, type A teachers. I'm a math teacher, so I'm very, you know, type A. So we started planning to head to Kentucky. First from South Carolina, we're going to head up to Kentucky. We'll drive straight because it's only about 7.5 hours to Mammoth Cave. And so we're going to stop there. Then we're going to head up to Lexington, Louisville area, capital, things like that, and head up to spend about 5 days there. And then we're going to stop by the Art and Creation Museum in Kentucky. So those are our stops in Kentucky. We'll spend about a week and a half, no, about a week there, I think. And then we're going to head up to Ohio. The plan is, my son is a big thrill seeker. And so he has been dying to go to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. And so we planned our route kind of around this, what kind of led us to this trip, because we wanted to take him up to Sandusky. Him and his Uncle John, they are roller coaster freaks. And so he takes him, that's his special thing to do, uncle nephew kind of day out. And so they like to go to theme parks.
And
So
we do not. We're not the thrill seekers.
We're glad he has an uncle that will ride them with him. So, and an aunt. I better shout out to Aunt Amy too. They both love roller coasters. So John just likes to take that, and that's their special time. So that's how we plan this route. So we're going up through Ohio, stopping in Dayton, stopping at Hocking Hills State Park and staying there, and then going to Sandusky. And then we're heading to Michigan and doing the west coast of Michigan up through what's the name of the Sleeping Bear Dunes? Are we stopping before? Yeah, we are stopping.
Yeah, somewhere in that area.
Somewhere down around Holland and Grand Haven and that area. That's our first stop. And then going to Sleeping Bear Dunes, Traverse City, then Mackinac. You know, got to stop at Mackinac. So we're going to stop there.
And we've not done any of that. We've never been to Michigan,
Yeah.
so that's going to be a total new adventure
This little
for
area
us.
up in the middle is very blank. So we have not done the Midwest at all, like to really enjoy it. So we're going to spend a good bit of time in Michigan and go up to the Upper Peninsula and stay around Pictured Rocks. I always get that wrong. Pictured Rocks, and then swing back around into Wisconsin and come back down through Illinois. Probably stop there and maybe do the Arch in St. Louis and then come home. So that's our route this summer.
The Northwoods RV Life was going to come on after us. They're in Michigan.
They're in Michigan. That's right.
If you guys haven't seen them yet, check out some of their videos because they're, you know, they do a lot of local videos.
And they do a lot of the videos up on
Mackinac.
The Mackinac type of thing.
We'll definitely have
Yeah,
to
we've
go.
gotten some great campground information from so many YouTube videos out there. You know, you don't even have to really do a search on Google or something to find it. You just hit the YouTube channels and boom, you'll see exactly what you want to know about every campground. So that's nice.
I see Solex. He said, or she said, not sure. They love math. I was like, yay. That makes me happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I ran a convenience store. It's hard when people can't do change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yep. That drives me crazy when somebody says something, you know, at the store, and I'm like, it's like common sense, you know, come on now. That's why math is so important, to have a little common sense with just money. Tell them at least just know something about money. Teach algebra. They're always like, well, how am I going to use this in my real life? What am I going to use this? Sometimes not everything is going to be in real life. I know that, but you know, it's just part of your education.
Carl says, stop in at the cabin. I can tell you about a couple must-sees in the UP.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. We'll definitely do that. That sounds awesome.
We're excited about that area. We have a friend who teaches with us, and she's from up in that area, and she's like, it is just so beautiful, you know, and we've not really thought about going to Michigan before. You know, we enjoy out west so much, but we want to try something a little bit different this year.
And everybody, you know, just when I started looking at it, you know, like who knew like all this stuff was there? I didn't, you know, until you start kind of digging in and trying to see what can you do there. You know, you learn so much about the state and the areas, and it's just really cool. We did the same thing when we went to Utah. Like, who knew Utah was so beautiful? I didn't until I started looking at all these national parks and just the landscape there. Like, I didn't.
Well, it's kind of the same thing about New York State. I mean, everybody hears New York. Why do I want to go to New York? It's just a big city. And it's like, no, it's not. It's like there's a big city way over here, which we'd like to cut off and dump in the water. But you know, then there's this rest of this beautiful state that has, you know, mountains to climb and kayaking and beautiful rivers and lakes and lots of wine trails.
Yeah, we definitely want to go up to the Northeast at some point in time, but we've heard about driving an RV up that way, so I'm a little nervous about the bridges and things like that. So.
Or you're talking about going through New York City, like up into.
Well, no,
we are not going that way.
Yeah,
we're going to the good part of the state of New York for sure.
Yeah, well, there's no.
When you get into, if you get into New York in the central part of it, coming in just from Pennsylvania, you get into places like Watkins Glen.
Oh yeah, I do want to go there. Yeah,
those places are just amazing, and they're just little known from people. You know, you'll find videos on YouTube about them, but very few people that you talk to about know that they even exist. So
right. That's the neat thing is you start digging around and seeing what you can go see. You learn so much. You know, like I would just from watching YouTube, we've learned a lot about different states and what's out there, and like you know, you don't know about it. You know,
Right.
So it's kind of neat. Mm-hmm. We haven't even been to Congaree National Park, and it's in our state. So that is on our list for spring break. Like, we haven't even hit that national park. It's in our state. Like, what are we doing?
So since you're in a warmer climate, do you guys winterize your RV? Or do you keep it out?
We semi-winterize it. So I put a little antifreeze down in the drains and blow a little air through there. And, you know, but it's...
Last year we did.
We
didn't
did.
fully winterize it.
And then I'm like, I don't know, because, you know, in South Carolina, if it gets into the high 20s, that's pretty cold for us. So we don't really have a lot of weather like that. We do keep our RV in storage. And if it's going to get real cold, sometimes I'll bring it to the house and I'll just cut the heat on instead of worrying about, you know, doing the winterization.
Because we still travel some, you know, this year we didn't. But
we went to Florida,
Yeah,
you know, during
did,
Christmas
yeah.
break. So we didn't want to winterize.
You took like a weekend if you know, the weather's going to be nice if you guys head out on a weekend with it. And
Yeah, usually late February, we start camping again, you know, down here. It may still be pretty chilly in a few places, but, you know, chilly to us is in the 40s. So without snow.
yeah.
Well, this morning it was really nice and comfortable. When I left to go to work this morning, it was -1.
Oh,
my
wow.
And it warmed up pretty
20.
nice today to about 20 degrees. So
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
yesterday it warmed up here to right around 60. So
Today and yesterday was really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
was
was a nice interview. Thanks. Bye.
yeah, we have shorts weather, you know, for the most part in January. So
I think there's a big cold front though coming, so it's going to get down around 40. So watch out; it's going to get really cold around here. So
there is a chance for snow this weekend here where we are. So we'll see. All the bread and the
There's a
milk
little
will be
dusting
gone.
that closes everything for a week.
you know that there is a chance that there's no snow sometime this week coming up.
We had, when was it, 2003? We had 18 inches. And, you know, that's just unheard of here in South Carolina. And we shut everything down for, it was 3 or 4 days that school was canceled. And we have maybe 3 snowplows in the whole county. So we can't deal with it.
I remember driving down the interstate one time, and I think they had Jimmy Joe Bob out on his tractor plowing the interstate, and it's like, get out of my way, will you? There's this much snow, and it's
And people cannot drive here in it. I mean, they can't even drive in the rain. But then you throw snow out there. Oh my goodness, it's terrible.
Carol said to come on up and hang out with them in Wisconsin. It was -15 this morning.
I think we're good.
And of course they're bragging because it was in the 80s.
Where are they? Do you know?
They're in south of Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We love a good wintertime Florida time. That's why we've gone down there. So, and it was kind of nice this time because it wasn't quite as crowded as it usually is because of the border being closed. So it was a little less crowded. So that was kind of nice.
Solex, don't let it get completely off of your bucket list. Come to New York. Come and check out Niagara Falls. Check out a lot of the Finger Lakes, all that type of thing.
We definitely want to. That's been on our list of coming up that way through Pennsylvania and New York and doing Niagara Falls.
Oh, they
They
froze.
froze. At least they froze with good expressions on their face.
Yeah, we can't make fun of them.
Do we have a great expression already?
Can you hear 'em?
You didn't have any kind of strange looks on your faces, but you froze there. Good. So
Okay, good. But we were originally kind of looking at going around the Great Lakes from Michigan and going around. If we had a normal kind of summer, we probably would have been able to do that and make that trip and come around through New York and Niagara Falls and come back down through Pennsylvania and West Virginia.
Yeah.
So that's another route that we would like to do. But we decided we had to cut this one a little shorter because of the time. School's going to be out this time. So we're going to take a little trip on our own to Hawaii. And so we're really excited about that right after school's out. So
Couples trips.
no children.
No children.
They're
We
going to
did
the
that 2 years ago. We didn't do a couples only trip last year. 2 years ago, we went out to Sedona and spent a week out there, and that was really nice. So
are the
this time we're
grandparents
going
still here watching so that they know that the kids are coming for that trip?
They've been informed.
they've already put in a campsite. They're going to take them camping. So now that my parents are retired, they can take a week and just go. They're looking for a camper, a little bit bigger camper than they have. They have a small camper now, toy hauler. But if they don't have one, they can use ours and take the kids. We told them they could take ours and go. So they're going to travel to Georgia and take our kids, and hopefully the other grandkids with them will meet up down there and be able to have a good week while we see Hawaii. So
now that it's been a couple of years with your camper, what do you want to upgrade on it? Are you happy with your camper? Since it was the first one you bought without looking at it.
We're gonna have a big announcement at some point in time. But we definitely need something a little bigger than what we have.
if they were in another live stream, I think I was in the Northwoods when I talked to, and I think some of them know Nurse on Travel Bug. We talked back and forth. We did get a bigger camper. So
we just haven't shown it really yet. So the trip out west this summer made us realize, the travel trailer it's nice, but we needed a little bit more room. So
that the kids can have their own space.
That's probably the biggest thing is that space thing, and especially the separate space, because the way our travel trailer was, we had two bunks in the back that just had a kind of a curtain over them, and then the bathroom was next to it. So they didn't have a lot of privacy. And, Cody's 14, Maddie's 10. And so I feel like they needed a little more, and we needed a little more space for us to be away from them, for some time. So
some other things we
you
noticed.
don't kill each other.
yeah.
Just go somewhere else for a little while. We definitely in our travel trailer just had the jackknife. That's called jackknife couch. In the dinette.
Right.
And so when you're out on the road for that long, to have a nice space to kind of, to sit down in the evenings or whatever, we said we needed recliners. That was going to be another upgrade. And so that was on the must-have list for the next time. So some more space, recliners. What was the other thing that we said we needed for that trip? Drawing a blank. But those were two things. Mainly this a bigger area for the kids to have. So you might can guess. Y'all can take a little guess over there in the chat what we might have. So
I'm gonna say a fifth wheel
maybe.
of some sort. Of some sort. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Our weekend RVing. Thank you for coming in.
We'll
Good to
do a
see
video
you.
on that in the near future. So when we transition seasons, I think we're gonna after we get done with our trip. So our big trip.
Yeah.
What's somewhere that y'all been that's really that you've really enjoyed going to?
Anywhere. We've been captive.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much this year we've got we pretty much the extent of our camping was going to the state parks, but
When we went to Maine, that was our first travel. We've used our campers. We had seasonal sites, which are nice when we're only 40 minutes from our house, so we could just pack up. And every weekend we were camping. And we decided when we got the Class A, it was getting too big for the area. So then we decided to go out and branch out, and we planned on going more places. And then stuff happens and you don't. But yeah, when we did our Maine trip, that's what we want to be doing. So hopefully life will cooperate a little bit.
Hopefully soon
I hope so.
that will happen for everybody.
Well, we're taking care of my mom. My mom, my dad passed away this year, so we're taking care of my mom. She's 87. So we're going to do a little upgrades on the camper. So hopefully she'll be comfortable and go with us a couple times. We had her out once last year, and she, she's happy as long as she's got a comfortable chair and a TV. So, and I feed her. So, she doesn't ask for much. So, it'd be nice for her to see a few things, I think.
Yeah.
But,
and again, it's that time spent together, that's so important, and that's the same thing with our kids. We have just with Cody, he's a 9th grader and very limited time with him left in the house. And so we knew that was another point in us getting a camper was we got to do something real quick if we're going to do that and take advantage of that time with our kids at the age they are. So,
how do they feel about leaving their friends all summer too, though? Is that been an issue yet?
Well, the thing about, the gaming, the online gaming and their phones and all that, they stay really connected with their friends. Unlike us, when we were kids, you had to call collect.
Hey, phone card.
You had to say what you were saying and hang up so you didn't have to pay for it.
Right. But it's almost as if we don't go anywhere. They still get to chat with their friends or hanging out with them on the games and everything. So, maybe it's not the same as in person, but they still seem to keep up with everybody.
So they said that we could not go full time, though. That was.
We're going to ask you
we keep saying we're going to go full time just to see what they would say. They're like, no, we cannot do that. So Cody is way social. Maddie is too, but Cody, he's got to be around his friends. So guess it's the high school in him. I don't know.
Okay, well, we're going to be wrapping up here pretty quick, or pretty much here. We're getting close to the end of our time. We're getting a link put up there in the chat for
the Northwoods.
For Northwoods, it's up there, so some people can go over to that. But in closing, is there anything that you'd like to let anybody know about and that we haven't touched on, or
your channel? What's coming up?
What's your YouTube project?
Yeah, we're just we're kind of in that transition. We've got some better, hopefully better editing techniques going. We're trying to learn. Yeah, we've had some recommendations from some people, and some fellow YouTubers have reached out to us, giving us some tips, which is so helpful. And so we've got a video coming out pretty soon about Mesa Verde National Park, one about the Durango Silverton rail line, which I think is going to be a pretty good video. I think people will really like that one from the viewing standpoint a little better.
It made me get a little teary because it was just one of those moments, like it was just a great family time, and I got a little teary. And Wilson did a really good job on that one. I have to say he did a good job.
So, just check us out, and hopefully we can help educate and help people see some places. And if you can't get there, at least you can see them on the videos. And if you can't get there, we encourage you to go. We just want to share travel destinations and, get to know the community a little bit more. So check us out if you will. Tell us what you think,
We'll do a camper reveal soon, so look forward to that too.
Yeah. Oh, and stickers. We just got our stickers, and I don't know where they are right this second, but we've been mailing them out, and people have been trading with us, and that's kind of another cool thing that the RV community is doing, and we've enjoyed that. People reaching out and asking for stickers and trading, and they're so neat.
Thanks. It's about time now. We love trains too. You'll find out in this one that was my pick on our trip. That was the fun thing we did, is that we let everybody pick something. So Mama got to pick the train. So in Colorado. So, because my other pick was in Canada. And so that one didn't happen. So this was I had to pick a new thing. So the Calgary Stampede was my pick on the other side of that. But we'll hit that one day. It's okay. Colorado was pretty awesome.
On that note, we're going to have to be closing up shop here. And
all right.
We
thank y'all so much.
Coming in.
It was fun.
Yeah, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your time and helping us as a new channel just kind of jump on here and get to see some people and some people interact with us tonight. So we appreciate that.
And just like they said, if anybody else is interested in coming on and chatting with us at some point, reach out through an email to us and we can get things set up and we can have you on also. It's not as scary talking to us as what people think, is it?
No, it was great.
Okay.
Now that we watched a few, it wasn't so bad. I was like, okay, I can do that.
All right.
We talk all day long anyway, so.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, night.